High-quality software. Test-driven development, TDD, is a software development approach that emphasizes writing automated tests before writing the code, ensuring that the code is both functional and high quality. Related posts: top App Store ranking factors you need to dominate the market, maximizing your mobile advertising reach. A guide to mobile ad networks. 1. Understanding test-driven development. Test-driven development, TDD, is a software development technique that emphasizes writing automated tests before writing the actual code. The basic idea of TDD is to write a failing test, then write just enough code to make that test pass, and then refactor the code to improve its design and maintainability. By doing this, developers can ensure that you can increase your iOS app downloads. One of the key benefits of TDD is that it helps to catch defects early in the development process. By writing tests before the code, developers can identify problems early on, which makes it easier and cheaper to fix them. TDD also encourages developers to write better code because it forces them to think about the design and architecture of their code before writing it. Understanding test-driven development. Source: ASOService. Another benefit of TDD is that it provides a safety net for developers when they make changes to the code. If a change causes a test to fail, the developer can quickly identify the problem and fix it before it causes any further issues. Overall, understanding test-driven development is important for any software developer who wants to build high-quality software efficiently and effectively. By using TDD, developers can catch defects early, write better code, and have a safety net when making changes to the code. 2. Writing effective unit tests. Writing effective unit tests is a critical aspect of test-driven development, TDD. These tests are used to verify that individual units of code are functioning as expected. Here are some tips for writing effective unit tests. Keep them small. Unit tests should be small and focused. They should test only one aspect of the code at a time. Keeping them small also makes them easier to read and maintain. Use descriptive names. The name of the test should describe what the test is testing. This makes it easier to understand what the test is doing and what the expected result is. Test for all possible inputs. Unit tests should test for all possible inputs that the unit of code can receive. This ensures that the code is handling all inputs correctly. Keep tests independent. Tests should be independent of each other. They should not rely on other tests to run first or pass before they can run. This ensures that each test is testing the unit of code in isolation. By following these tips, you can write effective unit tests that will help you catch bugs early in the development process and ensure that your code is functioning as expected. 3. Test-driven development process. Test-driven development, TDD, is a software development process that emphasizes the importance of writing tests before writing code. The process involves 3 primary stages: writing a failing test, writing the code to pass the test, and refactoring the code to improve its design and maintainability. In the first stage, the developer writes a test that describes the behavior they want to implement. This test should fail because the behavior doesn't exist yet. In the second stage, the developer writes the code to make the test pass. They should only write enough code to pass the test and no more. In the final stage, the developer refactors the code to improve its design and maintainability. They can add new tests to verify that the refactoring doesn't break any existing behavior. By following this process, developers can be confident that their code is correct and maintainable. They can also catch errors early in the development process, making it easier and cheaper to fix them. TDD can be used in conjunction with other agile methodologies, such as Scrum and Kanban, and is particularly useful in environments where requirements are likely to change frequently. Test-driven development process. Source: YouTube. To write effective unit tests, developers must ensure that their tests are atomic, isolated, and repeatable. Atomic tests should test a single behavior and not be overly complex. Isolated tests should be independent of other tests and not rely on any external state. Repeatable tests should produce the same result each time they are run. Additionally, iOS app marketers can increase app installs from Google Ads. Overall, TDD is an effective way to build high-quality software, but it requires a shift in mindset for many developers. By focusing on tests first, developers can ensure that their code is correct, maintainable, and meets the needs of their users. 4. Applying TDD to object-oriented design. Test-driven development, TDD, can be effectively applied to object-oriented design to improve the quality and maintainability of software. Here are some key considerations when applying TDD to object-oriented design. Identify the classes and methods. Before writing any code, it's important to identify the classes and methods that will be required for the feature or functionality being developed. This can be done through discussions with stakeholders or by analyzing the requirements. Write the test cases. Once the classes and methods have been identified, write the test cases for each method. The test cases should cover both positive and negative scenarios. Write the minimum code required to pass the tests. Write the minimum amount of code required to pass the test cases. This code should be focused on meeting the requirements of the current test case and should not include any additional functionality. Refactor the code. After the test cases have been passed, refactor the code to improve its design and maintainability. This includes removing any duplication, simplifying complex code, and ensuring that the code conforms to object-oriented design principles. Repeat the process. Once the code has been refactored, repeat the process by writing additional test cases and then writing the code to pass those tests. By following these steps, TDD can help ensure that the software being developed is of high quality and can be easily maintained over time. It also helps ensure that the software meets the requirements of the stakeholders, and that any changes to the software do not introduce new bugs or issues. 5. Tools and frameworks for test-driven development. Test-driven development, TDD, involves writing automated tests before writing the actual code. The main benefit of TDD is that it ensures that the code is correct and meets the requirements of the customer. However, implementing TDD requires the use of specific tools and frameworks to support the development process. Here are some of the tools and frameworks commonly used in TDD. Junit. This is a widely used unit testing framework for Java applications. Junit makes it easy to create and run tests, and it provides a range of assertions to help developers verify the behavior of their code. Nunit. This is a unit testing framework for .NET applications. Nunit is similar to Junit, and it provides a range of attributes and assertions to help developers write effective tests. Jasmine. This is a testing framework for JavaScript applications. Jasmine is designed to be easy to use and provides a range of features for testing JavaScript code, including the ability to test asynchronous code. What is TDD, test-driven development? How to do TDD with example. Day 19. Source: YouTube Mockito. This is a mocking framework for Java applications. Mockito makes it easy to create mock objects for testing, which can be especially useful for testing complex code. Selenium. This is a testing framework for web applications. Selenium makes it easy to automate web browser testing, and it provides a range of features for interacting with web pages and verifying their behavior. Using these tools and frameworks can help developers to implement TDD more effectively and efficiently. You can read Microsoft Store app reviews if you want to know more about these frameworks. By writing automated tests before writing code, developers can ensure that their code is correct and meets the requirements of the customer while also reducing the time and effort required for manual testing. 6. Challenges and best practices for TDD. Test-driven development, TDD, can be a highly effective approach to building high-quality software, but it also comes with its own set of challenges. Here are some common challenges that developers may face when implementing TDD, along with best practices for overcoming them. Resistance to change. One of the biggest challenges with TDD is resistance to change. Some developers may be hesitant to embrace TDD because it requires a shift in mindset and development practices. To overcome this challenge, it's important to educate developers on the benefits of TDD and to provide training and support to help them get started. Writing effective test cases. Writing effective test cases can be challenging, especially for developers who are new to TDD. Best practices for writing effective test cases include focusing on one test case at a time, using descriptive and specific names for test cases, and using meaningful and realistic input values. Maintaining test cases. As the codebase grows, it can become challenging to maintain and update test cases. To overcome this challenge, it's important to establish a process for regularly reviewing and updating test cases and to use automated testing tools to simplify the process. Integration testing. Integration testing can be challenging with TDD because it requires the use of external systems or APIs. Best practices for integration testing include using mock objects or stubs to simulate external systems and incorporating integration tests into the TDD process. Balancing testing and development. It can be challenging to strike the right balance between testing and development when using TDD. Best practices for balancing testing and development include setting clear priorities and goals, breaking down tasks into manageable chunks, and using code reviews and pair programming to ensure high-quality code. By understanding these challenges and implementing best practices for TDD, developers can successfully build high-quality software and deliver value to their customers. Conclusion. In conclusion, test-driven development is an effective software development approach that helps developers produce high-quality software by writing tests before writing the code and with continuous testing and refactoring throughout the development process. Related posts. https also service.com Google reviews. https also service.com iOS Android app reviews. Ratings. Thanks so much for reading this article. Source https